Welcome to Film Juice with John and Mike. Hi, John.
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man? What is going on?
I'm just lost in this multiverse of madness.
Oh, my. That sounds problematic.
I got lost in the madness.
Did you?
And I don't know my way home. There's no way home. It feels like.
Oh, man. So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is a movie about Doctor Strange.
Kind of.
Yeah. Doctor Strange takes a little bit of a backseat sometimes in this movie.
Yeah.
Even though there's several versions of him. So what were your impressions of, like, just immediately after the movie?
Yeah, that was one of my big ones. Is that it almost felt like more of a Doctor Strange and Scarlet and America, type movie.
Like another team up.
Yeah, and I would have liked. So initially, after the movie, I was like, man, I think there was an opportunity missed. I thought Doctor Strange was done wrong.
Yeah.
Because
he hasn't had his own movie since the first one, like 7 years ago.
Has it been that long?
He's just been, it was 2016, I think.
Wow.
It was 6 years ago. But yeah, it's been that long, and that was a really good movie. Like, that one holds up pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I remember. Same.
Yeah, it's got a lame villain, but if you've seen enough Marvel movies, you're used to these lame villains that they have sometimes.
It's still really good character origin, though.
Yeah, and great special effects, great origin. I liked him being just an asshole.
Yeah.
It was like 10 times Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just like that about him, that how much worse he got after the injuries and how desperate he became. And it was just a good character arc, and he ends up kind of embracing the fact that his hands are screwed up at the end.
Right.
Not embracing it, but like accepting it.
Yeah. And that's actually what unlocked his powers, essentially.
Yeah. That and because self-sacrifice.
And I forgot that's actually what allowed him to use his powers to constantly heal his wounds. Right.
Yes.
That was part of it, like him accepting and letting go and not trying so hard. And to be in like super control.
Right. Being able to let go of it. Because he did that, I think, in every one of his appearances, he had to surrender. Like, he did it. I guess we'll just say spoilers, as always. At the end, when he accepts that America has to make her own decision as whether or not she's going to sacrifice herself. He's just a very stubborn character, and he's a good character. And you're right. He was. I think I'm coming around. He was done a little wrong here, because I did initially love it right after the movie. I was like, that was freaking great. I like all the creature effects are really fun and like weird, all Sam Raimi'd out. There's that genuinely scary scene where the Scarlet Witch is trying to get into their dimension, the mirror dimension. And she's like bursting her arm through the mirrors and trying to grab them, and you like see her eye through one of the holes in the floor. And that's a really fun Sam Raimi scene in the movie, out of like, I don't know, maybe 4 that embraced Sam Raimi style.
Those were the most engaging parts of the movie. Like
they were, yeah.
The very Sam Raimi aesthetic styled scenes and
the zoom ins and the quick cuts.
the
You can almost
strange
hear
angles.
the Dutch angles and But I thought the story was okay. I think it lacks Doctor Strange more. Like, just because you have more Doctor Stranges in the movie doesn't make him a good character or make him a strong character.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of interesting to see how many versions were there? Like 3?
There was
The
one at the beginning who died, and then
Ponytail.
right, and then there was the one who found the book, and
Sinister Strange.
and then
There was just Doctor Strange, right?
yeah, it's just Doctor Strange. Because the others had died. There was one other one who had actually died though already, or
the
was
zombie
killed,
one.
right?
Yeah, the zombie one that came back.
Well, there is that one, but there's the one that the Illuminati group had killed. Remember?
Oh, right.
There's that
That's
one,
right.
but
That's right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
One. That's the 838 universe. Apparently,
Mm.
how they all know there are numbers attached to their universes, I don't know, but so it helps us make sense of it. Let's talk about that scene with the Illuminati.
Yeah, that seems so out of place.
I know. That's why I loved it. It was just like, what is happening? Like, you heard my reactions while they were all just dying.
Yeah. I turned and looked at you like, what? What the hell? What's happening? I know. I was thinking the same thing though. I was like, whoa, what the?
It was so violent.
Yes, that was the other strange thing about it. It was so violent. Like Captain Carter gets cut in half.
She gets cut in half.
And
then Reed Richards, I think, was the worst one.
Which one?
Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic.
Oh,
the one that gets unraveled and like his head explodes for no reason.
That was strange, right?
Why did his head have to explode? He was already dead. And Black Bolt got it pretty bad too. With the when he was just like whimpered and shot
blew his own brain. Yeah. Blew his brain up.
That was great. But yeah, it was completely out of place. That just happened out of nowhere.
And if they're so so knowledgeable of the multiverse and of Scarlet Witch, and they go straight out. Mr. Fantastic gives her what's his name? The Soundwave guy, I forget his name.
Oh, Black Bolt.
Black Bolt, yeah, he's like, watch out, Scarlet. Black Bolt can just breathe and kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and he's like, he just has to whisper one word, and she's like, with what voice? And she does the Matrix thing with his mouth.
It's like, come on, dude. Like, you're really gonna give that away?
I think that was the problem with them, is that they were that arrogant. All of their hubris just screwed them. And they thought they were this badass team. And they failed. I mean, Thanos was killed, but they had to kill Doctor Strange just to punish him. Was it just like, dude, you did something awful, we have to kill you now?
Well, I think that Strange, he did have, I think he may have had the book as well, that dark magic book, or some kind of, is it the Darkhold or some other power that he had that he believed he needed to kill
okay. So Thanos. He tapped in like dark power or something.
It was something like that. It was either the dark one or the other power, which the Doctor Strange we know went to that universe looking for. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Or they were going to help. They knew where it was. I forget the name of that power. But it's like it's basically the opposite. It's like the good version of the
dark, like it's a lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a good version of that. So yeah, that I think he used that in 838 universe, that Doctor Strange used that to kill Thanos.
Yeah,
And
I see.
and he yeah. And so they needed to get rid of him because he wanted it to do it his way or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I didn't and like I said, like, it was such a weak reasoning around. I don't like that they're doing this. Like I like the motivation to treat this Doctor Strange bad, right? Like
Yeah.
as like the worst hero
Yeah.
ever. Like
He's like the
you know,
worst villain.
and it's like, come on, are you serious? Like we don't even know this guy, you know?
Yeah. We knew
And
him for one scene. He said some haunting things, and then he fought the good Doctor Strange. And then he died. Which actually, that was kind of a cool fight, I will say, with the music notes.
oh, that was really cool. Yeah. um the motivation through all the universes against Doctor Strange was just so weak. Like I was like, come on, like this isn't the Doctor Strange we've known up to uh Endgame, you know?
Right. Yeah.
We've known a completely different Doctor Strange than this. These all these universes are introduced to us,
Hmm.
and I feel like there wasn't enough there to really grab hold of like, hey, you know, Doctor Strange could really be a threat. The Doctor Strange we know was ever a threat, but all these universes believe so strongly that he was, you know,
That's true. It's a little inconsistent.
and yeah, I was just there's emotionally I was never convinced of that, and so it was almost it was weird to see so many people convinced of it, and then Doctor Strange just kind of just take it every time, you know, like
Yeah. He just rolls with the punches.
and he almost believes it, you know, he almost there's a point where he has to be told that he's not that, you know, or and it's
Yeah.
like at the very very end, and it's like to me I just don't think Doctor Strange would take that honestly, like he just seems too smart.
That's true.
and,
Yeah.
and like to me he would have corrected that like immediately, like with his you know with his wisdom and knowledge, like the Doctor Strange that again up to Endgame, because I think he changed after Endgame.
Yeah.
In that, like
I think it's basically the same one, but
he's just not. He's definitely not as hardcore
oh yeah.
as he was up until Endgame. I mean, even in No Way Home, he's kind of just this guy looking for stuff to do, right? Like
I guess so.
like a
Yeah, he
hero
does.
looking.
Yeah, looking for something to
And it's like
for a fight.
you know he had such a such a drive, especially in the first Doctor Strange movie. It seems off character for him to be that way.
Mm.
Um, and and he's less interesting. He's less interesting like that. But anyway, so that was a big. I just noticed that change in character and just that low kind of like that unconvincing kind of part of the story, whereas that it's like no, Doctor Strange wouldn't. You couldn't even like for instance in Endgame, like no one could tell him he's the one who thought of every scenario
Right. Yeah.
of how to think Thanos. I mean, how to defeat Thanos,
Hmm.
and people had to trust him, you know. And you just don't like. We don't even know what he had to think or what he saw or anything. You know what I mean? To like come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
But you know that like it does give you the sense that he was seeing beyond. You know, like there was like a greater power, you know, at work within him. You know, the kind of thing
Yeah.
like. that I was hoping to know more about, in this movie. But it's just like yeah, he's more fragile, and it didn't feel like.
I feel like the same character.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they had to rewind him back a little bit character-wise in order to make this movie. Just because we're already pretty familiar with him from the Avengers and Spider-Man. And I think that they didn't know what to do.
Like the Disney.
But yeah, the writers. Like, I think they didn't know how to make another Doctor Strange movie. So they threw in a bunch of other stuff to kind of to pad it out.
Yeah, and one of the thoughts I had was, I would have liked have seen this as a series,
right? Yeah.
as opposed to a movie. And I'm sure the visual effects wouldn't be as good, but they almost. I mean, this is almost like it almost looked like one of the shows they do. The Marvel shows they do.
I mean, the shows are pretty good looking.
Yeah, and they're pretty good looking, yeah. But it would have left them more time to introduce the characters, or introduce America, I think, better.
Yeah.
And then also stick on Strange a lot more, and then also, continue the Scarlet story from her show, which was what was it called again?
WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision. And because there was a strong connection to that show too. If you hadn't seen that show, you wouldn't know what this movie.
No, you wouldn't know what
about.
Yeah, you wouldn't know who these kids are. Why is she out in the woods?
And why she's struggling so much.
Because if you didn't watch that show, the last time you saw her was in Endgame, and there's a whole chunk of story there that you're missing, like her whole relationship with Vision and her pregnancy and everything. I mean, Agatha, what is this book? What is this book? Like, I don't know. Guess it's a book. I guess it's like the Necronomicon.
Yeah, it is like the Necronomicon. I feel like this was Evil Dead. Like,
they even tried
Doctor Strange, Evil
Dead.
It was,
yeah.
It was like
they even stabbed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they stabbed the book. Remember that one girl?
Oh, yeah, that's right. She does. Yeah, it's like 3 movies in one. It was like a WandaVision Part 2. It was like a Doctor Strange Part 2 with the Evil Dead, in the Marvel Universe. Like, I felt like there were 3 different stories going on or trying to come together in this movie.
Yeah, because there are, like, you're right. The Wanda thing, it could be its own series. It could have been a good season 2.
So those were my impressions. I love the monster fight in the beginning.
With the ponytail.
No, actually not that one. The one in the city.
Oh, with the big squid monster thing.
That one, yeah.
Yeah, with when he throws the saw blades at it,
and how he his eyeball comes out.
yeah. I was like, oh,
that was so that was
really
Sam
weird.
Raimi.
Honestly, I really loved the movie. There's just so much about it that I'm just picking at it, but I really enjoyed it. It's probably my favorite so far, just because it's so weird. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. It feels like when I read Marvel Zombies, because that is totally a zombie story, and just happens to have superheroes in it. This just felt like a horror movie with horror elements with I wouldn't even. It's almost not a superhero movie. I mean, of course, it's got all the elements of that, but it's almost not like you can't watch this and Spider-Man back to back and say they're the same type of movie exactly.
Oh yeah,
I think this one's a little less cookie cutter, just because it is so oddly structured, and
it definitely. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
I think for me, it felt like something new, and
Okay.
I loved Moon Knight, but I that was something different, and thank God, there were no references to any other superheroes or Thor or something in Moon Knight, which proves that's well, I wouldn't say unknown, but a lesser known character. Doctor Strange is infinitely more well known than Moon Knight.
mhm.
So Doctor Strange tends to stay in his own movie. All they need to do is read some of the comics, adapt one of the storylines. The Oath. The Oath is a good one.
Yeah, I think this universe thing, this whole crisscrossing of the heroes and stuff is gotten out of it's slipping through their fingers.
Yeah.
There were things I enjoyed about it. I did. There were a few things I did like about it, but it was overall disappointing to me.
Mm.
I was Disney is I think promising like AAA content
Yeah.
like all across the board, and you got your actors, you got your budget, you got your director, all this money, and just they're falling. It's just falling short to me. And this movie I think is the first of several that are going to be like this. And
Oh yeah.
I'm making that's my prediction. I think there's really gonna there, and this is what I was saying before too. I was telling you after Endgame,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely this is the low, this is the down curve,
Mm.
for the Marvel universe with Disney. I think at least in the movies.
Yeah, because the shows are pretty
The shows,
consistently good.
yeah, they've been good, but yeah, these movies, man, they're gonna keep going down. They're gonna keep getting bad and bad, and the fans are gonna have to speak up about it.
Yeah.
And right now, everyone's almost a fan right now. So still, we're a lot of people are still on that high from the past 10 years.
Yeah.
But once a few more of these start coming out, I think we're going to start hearing more complaints.
Yeah. And it's not even necessarily just Marvel, but the whole genre, because they have Black Adam coming out. There's some like weird drama happening with the Flash movie. Shazam 2 is coming out. Oh, Aquaman and the whatever.
And I hope they don't go. I'm hoping those are better. But you're right. They could be very much. So you're saying it could just be the problem. You think people might just be getting tired?
I think it is starting to settle in. And I've said that a few times over the years, but I think now it really is, because they're now retreating to television. I mean, She-Hulk I like the way She-Hulk looks. I think it looks funny. It looks silly. I don't want all my Marvel content to be like super serious. Moon Knight was pretty dark. It's nice to have that variety of tone.
It is
in the shows. Because I think what was before Moon Knight is Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a completely different. That was like a Die Hard style action series.
Right.
And then they went into the mystical with Moon Knight, and then they're going into like more comedy with She-Hulk, and I feel like it's harder for them to do that with the movies, and that's why all the movies feel the same. And I will say, except for this one, I think this one's a good exception, because the ones that I like genuinely feel like, okay, I just saw something kind of new, like the first Doctor Strange. Like when something makes me feel like that, I'm like, okay, well, if it stands out for whatever reason, I have to give it props.
So, I mean, I hope that, I hope that I'm wrong. This is just what happens when a company gets too inflated with their own success.
Yes. Yeah.
And it takes, it takes a lot of criticism and money. Obviously them losing money. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
um, for them to change and to listen uh, to the fans. And I know a lot of Marvel fans too just love that these characters are getting movies, that they're getting attention. And I just don't, and I love that too. I just don't want, I also just want them to have the great movies that they deserve too,
Yeah.
because I mean they have a lot of characters right now. They have Blade, they have Punisher, Daredevil, X-Men, and dude, if they're coming out with movies like this, like with all of those franchises, like that's not it's not going to be good for those characters. It's not going to be good for the universe and the franchise. It's just I hope that they get away from this multiverse BS and these mashups and like what we talked about with Spider-Man is that I hope they just give them their own movie, and
Yeah.
stop trying to, like, even the comics failed doing this,
Well, now
like,
they do it every month.
yeah.
There's constant crossovers, and that's where this is stemming from, is the problem with comics right now, or for the last, I would say, since Civil War in like 2005, 2006. That crossover that was huge, and Marvel's just like, oh, okay, well, we'll just keep doing this like twice a month, 3 times a month, and definitely every summer.
Wow.
It's really obnoxious.
And I think this also goes to another point where is we need new IP,
Yeah.
Maybe this has to run its course a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
for something to come up and be like, hey, you know what? We don't have to rely on what's becoming or what's already become a gimmick,
I'd say the Batman was different enough, but
it was different enough for sure.
Yeah, and even just as a Batman movie, it was a lot of it felt really close to Christopher Nolan's seriousness, but it was a little more fantastical.
Yeah, it was. I would say it was different enough from them to, and showed enough of a different aspect of Batman too, or
yeah,
especially with all the investigating he was doing.
Yeah, actual detective work, even if he maybe didn't actually know what he was doing. I kind of got that feeling from in the entire movie that he had no idea how deep he was in.
Yeah, second time watching it, I noticed that too.
But I think that's an important and a fun part of the character is his learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that in Batman Begins. Yeah, I don't know how this turned into a Batman discussion.
Sorry, I know I was going off on
no, it's fine.
Yeah, but, I think. Well, is there anything else you wanted to say about it?
Well, I think we've said a lot. I enjoyed it overall. I think it was messy, but for me, it still worked. I think the goofy horror aspects of it were awesome. There's a lot of like really interesting imagery, like him wearing the cloak of arms when he's zombie strange.
Uh-huh.
There's just some like really cool, like I hate to say it,
that's
but
true.
Like vistas, like nice landscape shots and some cool, like very fantastical settings.
There was an awesome scene actually before that reminds me of when when him in America, and America's a girl who creates stars that are portals to other universes, and so there's a part where they're kind of they're fighting with each other, and she opens up all of these portals, and they're just falling through them.
Oh yeah.
And
That was
like
really cool.
that was awesome. Yeah, there was they go through like a dozen different
Yeah.
universes, and one of them,
Dinosaurs, paint.
yeah, they're like paint, like their
That
skin
was
is like
really
different
they're
color
just
paint.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, that was a really great scene, and there were other scenes I was really impressed with. It just sucks that everything in between just didn't flow, and it it felt rushed, and the movie also just felt like 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes too short.
Yeah. Because I mean, come on, Spider-Man was what, 3 hours long? It's like 3:15 or something.
Was it that long?
It was pretty long. Oh no, Batman was. I'm thinking of Batman.
Yes, that one
That was long. That one was long. But yeah, Doctor Strange, it could have been longer. When it ended, I was like, that's okay. All right. Because the pacing was pretty quick too.
I mean, No Way Home was almost 2.5 hours. It was like right under 2.5. So,
okay.
And the Multiverse was just 2 hours. It's just 2 hours. Oh. So, but yeah, my criticism is, in hopes that we get better movies in the future.
Yeah.
Because I want to see Sam Raimi not be held down by what Marvel wants or by what Disney wants.
I think we just need like him to make more movies.
We do. Yeah, I know you said that he was a fan, right, Sam Raimi?
Yeah. And it shows, like, he really delved into the weird stuff there. Because, like, yeah, the comics they're really a trip. So, just that ending, the ending too was pretty great when he's like, everything's all good. Everything's fixed. And then he just starts screaming and the eye comes out.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
That was so Evil Dead, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, fair assessment.
So I would say it was decent, for me.
Yeah.
For me, it was decent, but disappointing.
Yeah. I thought it was great, but I can see the weak points in it. So yeah, what's next? What comes out next? I guess we're going to have to talk about She-Hulk.
Yeah, I think, well, even before She-Hulk is Thor, isn't it?
Oh, Thor is coming out pretty soon, yeah. Well, I'd say we covered all our bases and hated this movie.
No, I'm surprised you thought it was really great, though. I didn't know that.
I just really enjoyed it. Like, it might not be great, but in my mind it is, just because it was a fun, weird, dark, colorful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Very strange times we're living in. All right. Well, let us know what you think of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness in the comments, and we appreciate it. Thanks for listening in. We'll see you next time on Film Juice.